Folks, welcome back. It's still the link up there in blue up in the description. It's still Sunday the 19th of May 2019. This is a story by Phil Cardy. It's a rather ominous development that you could actually have predicted it coming. You know, because it's my personal opinion that the elite and establishment is absolutely riddled with paedophiles. So they have actually quite a lot of sympathy for the low class scumbag paedophiles that seem to be getting caught all over the country, right? Because they're a wee bit more sophisticated. Nobody gets to see what they've got on their computers because they do it in a hidden way. They've been doing it for hundreds of years in a hidden way. It's all these other bampots that suddenly got themselves a computer and, you know, they don't know what to do with themselves. They can't get a bird or whatever it is, and they just start looking at porn, and then suddenly they graduate onto this, and then suddenly, you know, they get caught, etc., 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 and they're up in front of the courts and blah blah blah. But the real McCoy, the real paedophile predators are not getting caught. They're the ones that are part of power groups and elites. You know, think about a billionaire. So he's got all the motors he could ever want. He's got beautiful women running after him. He's got all the houses he ever wants. He's got a boat. He's been to every country in the world. He's got everything. But what's he going to do now? Well, what he's going to do now, he's going to mix with other billionaires, isn't he? So then they've got a wee kind of social scene, because he can't mix with me, because I'm skin. You know, so he's going to mix with all his pals, and they're going to start getting drunk, and they're going to start doing this, and before he knows what's happening, he's invited to certain parties, and they say to him, well, you know, you can only be part of our group really if you do this, so that, you know, we've got that on you and you've got this on us, so this is, well, it means you'll be comrades. And that's how they get into it. That's how they have their parties. That's how they have their underground setup, where people like Jimmy Savile can be an enabler. Jimmy Savile wasn't a kingpin. You know, he was an evil wee fuck, right? No doubt about it. From his own crummy life, but he was also part of an elite group based only on his predilection for having sex with children. He had that in common with them, right? When you see him hobnobbing, right, and all these smells and the air hugging and all this stuff, that's because of that. Not because he's a click maniac bastard, right? It's because they both have the same things in common, you know, and that went all the way to the top, politician-wise, as we all know, and a lot of royalty and civil service. And all your organisations, the prosecutor's office, the councils, the social services, in particular social services, and anything to do with children's organisations, that was the first place, that is the first place that paedophiles, sophisticated paedophiles that are thinking paedophiles, will try and get a job, try to be near children, won't they? You know, a lot of these other bampots are just sending pictures of their dicks to kids in chat rooms. Right? There's another level where they kidnap children and murder children. So, you know, this is a multifaceted problem that's deep rooted in our society, and it's going to take a lot more than this story I'm talking about. But this here is just a wee tiny inkling that you should maybe try and understand as to why they construct the laws. Right? They'll say it's to protect the scumbag paedophile bastard, but it's to make sure that paedophiles are no hunted and no killed. Because if they get hunted and killed, then the shit hits the fan as far as they're concerned. Their privileged lives are no longer privileged. They become susceptible to us. We are the masses. We can overtake anything if we wish it, alright? But it takes quite a lot for us as British citizens and as civilised people to riot, to have a revolution. You know, it can happen, and it has happened, but it usually takes quite a lot. But anyway, so I'm havering again, I'm just going right off topic to a degree here, but let's just talk about this. This is a localised thing, and you need to be aware of this, because this is the way they'll come for you, the ordinary folk, right? So, it says here, a mum is hauled into court after outing a paedophile neighbour who had moved into her street. Mum of two tells how she endured nearly 2 years of legal hell after she exposed the identity of a paedophile living on her street. And there she's there, Claire Vane. Good on you, Claire. Right? I love you. You can move in with me, Claire, because I heard you've had a problem with your man, so you can move right up here and move right in with me. Keep the wains to your man, because I've had kids and all that. I just want to take you out of the pictures and all that. Right, Mum Claire Vane told yesterday of her nightmare after she was hauled into court for outing a paedophile neighbour. Claire, 37, had legitimately used Sarah's Law to discover that a man living in her street had been jailed for having child porn on his computer. So, just to recap, Sarah's Law, it was created by the mother of Sarah Payne. That's a wee 8-year-old girl who was kidnapped, raped, tortured, and ultimately murdered by a degenerate paedophile bastard, right? And the mother went through hell and ultimately came up with this law, which enables you to go to a local police officer so they can do a search to see if someone that you've identified is being convicted of paedophilia and is hiding within your community. There is a facility for you to do that. The difference between here and America is that stuff's right online. They just put it straight online because they don't fuck about. Here, there's a certain level of protection. And that's the key, isn't it? And that's why these guys, ultimately feel they can get away with it, because, well, the state protects them. In America, they don't get protected. In America, if a local guy finds out that there's a paedophile living next door, well, that's just his tough fucking luck, because he's a paedophile or a child murderer. The people need to know. The Americans have got it right. The local people need to know. So anyway, she was charged with breaching data protection law, threatened with eviction from her housing association home, which is disgraceful, suffered the breakdown of her marriage to her husband Sam. I'd read that. Claire, I love you, Claire. Anyway, never mind that. So, Claire, the first known person in the UK to be charged, and she will be the last, over such an offence, told the Sunday People something needs to change. And that picture there is of Sarah Payne. That's the mother of the wee girl who campaigned to have this law introduced, right? What's the point of Sarah's Law if you can't protect people? I was told to keep it to myself, but how could I live with myself if something did happen? It's every parent's nightmare. Claire, who was finally cleared this week after charges were dropped, added, I have to live with this hanging over my head. I had to live with this living over my head for months. The stress of the court case, the threat of losing the house, the police coming to see us, it's been awful. Sarah's Law allows parents, carers or guardians to ask police if someone has a conviction for child sex offences. The legislation was introduced following a campaign by Sarah Payne, the mother of 8-year-old Sarah, who was murdered by paedophile Roy Whiting. There he's there, that's a guy there, man. He should be waterboarded every day, birched, tortured, garroted, but no killed. Just let him come back round again and do the same thing to him every day for the rest of his life. But anyone who receives the information through Sarah's Law has to sign a non-disclosure form prohibiting them from telling anyone else. Claire had asked West Yorkshire Police about her new neighbour after becoming alarmed by his behaviour when he moved in during the summer of 2017. So something about this person alerted this woman, this mother, to a potential danger, stranger danger, and she was right. Her intuition was right. The man in his 30s introduced himself as Tom and told them he was training to be a barrister. So he's lying, right? So he's coming in there on false pretences, right? He began chatting to her daughters as the girls picked fruit from the plum trees in their garden. The next day he called Claire's house and asked if the younger girls would like to go berry picking with him. Now, that's what the police, that's who the authorities are protecting. Now, he was about to try and groom the kids, wasn't he? You get it? and the prosecutors actually considered taking her to court. He should have an order on him saying, stay away from children. That's it. Like the guy I was saying in the sheriff court in Hamilton, the Sheriff Tommy, who's showed extraordinary leniency just recently within the last month or so to 2 accused and then convicted paedophile. One of them was found to have child porn on his computer, possibly even sharing child porn. The judge says, well, you don't really seem a danger. I'll give you a 2-year suspended sentence, and you'll also just be on the sex offenders register for 2 years. No, you should be on the sex offenders register for a minimum of 10. It should be standard, minimum 10. If you touch a child, if you're in to meet a child, it's a life. The next guy that he let off about a month later, this guy had sent pictures of his dick to children, right? And he was ensnared by a concerned parent group, and he arranged to meet a 12-year-old. So the judge said to him, well, you technically didn't meet a 12-year-old, so, and you're also a wee bit doolally and maybe not that clever, so I'll just give you a suspended sentence for 2 years, and you can be on for 2 years. Do you get it? Now, who is the judge? What's his predilection? Is he just a guy though who's been getting information pushed towards him from social services with a slant on it, and he's followed that because he's PC? You know, we don't know that. Was the prosecuting team quite, were they feeling that these 2 pedophiles should be shown some sort of special treatment, and so they never pushed the case for a custodial sentence? Has the prison authorities made it clear that the jails are bursting with pedophiles and they've no more room, so if it's possible at all, can we just send them to jail? Could we just put them back into the community, and if they attack some children, then okay, bring them back? See, that ties up with what we're saying here, right? So, it says here, in November 2015, Claire, a carer, she's a carer, rang the police to ask about using Sarah's Law to check in the past. So if you're a carer, you have to actually go through a check. Everybody has to go through a check to see if you've been done for this or that, anything to do with children. So, I would imagine the housing association, they should actually just refuse to take people like this. They should be on the streets or on an island somewhere, and we should fly a plane over it and just drop Weetabix. No milk. Anyway, so it says here basically, I'm not going to go over it all, but you get the gist of it, right? They've dropped a case. That's the guy that murdered that wee girl, right? I'm no point in going through all that, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. This has been on for a long time, and that's good, because this is something that is serious. So, good luck to you, Claire. You did the right thing, and I'm sorry that your relationship broke down with your man, because he's obviously, if he left you because your brave stand on this, then he's an absolute fanny. But it could have been for something else. Anyway, but that doesn't matter. The main thing is that you kept your children and your neighbours' children safe. Good luck to you. You're a hero, actually. You're a hero, Claire. You should get an award for that, right? There should be an award for a brave hero, and you're one of them for standing up for your children and the children of your local community. That's what you are. Anyway, folks, if you like the content, smash that like button and get your family and friends to subscribe to this channel. Now, peace out.